which has not even been fully released until now. And the third will be the incarceration of the 3 senators who have been charged with plunder. After every topic, you may ask me questions about the topic, but after all 3 topics, you can ask me any question. I have established a distinction in the Philippine Senate in the past few weeks. I think you're expecting that I would announce that I'm the only senator who, out of boredom, has developed a relationship with a toy boy. But that is not the case. The distinction lies somewhere else. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce myself to you as the only senator who has been diagnosed with lung cancer as of last week. I have cancer of the left lung, which makes it hard for me to breathe. I think many of you have already noticed for the past 2 or more years that I have had difficulty. I've always been short of breath, particularly when I delivered privilege speeches or even just commencement speeches. I don't know what the reaction of my enemies are. Maybe they'll be happy because on the one hand I might die and then they could get rid of me. But on the other hand, I might survive and then I will get rid of them. I have come insofar as you are concerned so that you can see me personally before the cancer takes its ravages my physical body. So I've come to shake hands with you personally or to kiss you personally because I've missed you for 2 years and you've been kind to me many, many years in my political career. However, if I'm not able to do that today, I'll kiss you anyway when I'm dead. All right. This is good news. When they were examining my biopsy, my lung, for the cancer, they discovered that today certain persons like myself who are very, very lucky have been capable of what they call genetic mutation, maybe from living a healthy life. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't commit adultery. I only tell lies to my husband. But anyway, when they were doing this, they discovered that I have a very rare condition, which is called behavioral mutants or mutancy. By themselves, my cells in my left lung have developed a genetic mutation that makes them impermeable to cancer and which gives them the energy to fight off cancer nearby. This is, as I said, behavioral, it calls for behavioral therapy, meaning to say that in the past, when people wanted to be treated of cancer, they'd expose the entire body to chemotherapy. As you know, chemotherapy is just injection of a certain fluid into your veins, and then you become all dizzy and very weak, and you suffer all the other well-known consequences of cancer as a result. So people look at chemotherapy as something to be avoided. But today, chemotherapy has been reduced to a tablet. This tablet is called molecular targeting. This tablet is a sort of magic target so that I don't have to take anything, just take the tablet, and in effect, it will give me all the benefits of chemotherapy without the side effects. So I hope to be able to see you in 6 weeks, fully cured of cancer. And you'll probably feel even envious of my status because it will give me a certain gravitas when I talk to other people about cancer. That is the first news. Any questions? 4. But it is not metastatic. As you know, metastatic is just a high word for spreading. It is not spreading. So you know that if cancer has already metastasized. The only cure is chemotherapy, and the chances are very low. But in my case, they're very, very well behaved. I believed in discipline all my life, so even my cancer cells are showing excellent discipline. Giving trouble to my colleagues at work is one definite cause of lung cancer because I talk all the time when I should be keeping myself quiet. No, to answer it seriously. They have no clue. These doctors don't have any clue. Just like my chronic fatigue syndrome, which is related to my cancer now, because right now, with cancer, I feel just like I did when I had chronic fatigue syndrome. They don't know what causes it. Very strange because I don't smoke. My husband doesn't smoke.
Ma'am, first time na malaman niyo yun?
Yes.
Excited po ba kayo? Are you scared? First time na malaman niyo yun?
No, I'm very excited. I'm not kidding. I said, yes, I got cancer. Because now I'm entering another dimension of human life. That has always been my attitude.
Just to clarify, so there's a chance that you will fully recover?
Yes, there's also a chance that I might croak. There's also a chance that I might die because nobody is sure of the results in cancer. But the happy thing about my situation is that my sister, who happens to be a medical doctor, a graduate of UP, is a doctor working in Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles. And as such, is in very close touch with a person considered to be the number one lung cancer specialist in the world. So in effect, he is my oncologist, although he is doing this long distance through all the scans and the x-rays and pathological slides and all other documents and files, as they call it in America. You all will be happy to know that a very expensive device that was not in the Philippines earlier is already here. It's called PET, positron emission tomography, that will tell you whether there is a cancer and what stage the cancer is. It's already available here.
Ma'am, what is the advice of your physician? Can you still continue to perform your job as a roommate?
Well, he said, because I'm notorious in the international community for doing my own thing, he's not going to give me any advice that I'm going to disregard anyway. Yes, after 6 months, by this tablet, they're expecting that the mass or the tissue will simply degenerate, meaning to say it will just shrink by itself and then it will no longer be there. But if it does not do that, that means things have gotten worse. I have to go to Cedars-Sinai, which for me is a source of great grief because it's a very expensive hospital.
Will the chemotherapy tablets be able to arrest the cells?
Yes, because of a certain peculiarity that I have, I developed, as I said, a genetic mutancy. Very few people have it, and apparently I'm one of the lucky ones. Yes, it is. I don't know yet. My doctors will tell me. My chief doctor here in the Philippines is Dr. Esperanza Cabral, who is a close family friend. And my pulmonologist is Dr. Ruth Divina Gracia. Both, one in St. Luke's Global and the other is in Makati Med. Just once a day. And I grow prettier every day. Yes.
How will that affect your political plans?
Well, I will see, because I don't know yet what the effect of a tablet will be. I was told that in good cases, it does not affect the cancer patient anymore, unlike before when everybody was so terrified of chemotherapy because your hair would fall off and you would have no energy to even talk, much less move your body. But now apparently there are some people who can get along with this magic tablet and they can act normally. They can even, I was assured, I could even go to work. Good news. Okay, shall we go on to the next topic? My next topic is, I have to introduce myself to you all over again. I'm also the only senator who, about a year ago, predicted that the Supreme Court would strike down the Development Acceleration Program, or the DAP funds, as unconstitutional. I'm glad that the Supreme Court has at least seen this particular aspect of the issue my way. However, I can hardly understand the opinion. It hasn't been issued in full form yet. If you go to the website, you'll see a summary, and then there are many justices who have reserved the right to add their own opinions, so we won't even have a clear picture yet. But let me say this. Number one, Supreme Court ruled that the use of the public funds is illegal, and that just after the impeachment alone of Chief Justice Corona, the government lost 1.1 billion pesos. And yet the opinion does not say who will give back the 1.1 billion pesos to the Filipino people from whom they stole it. Let's speak plainly. That money was stolen. The Constitution is very clear. You remember this provision as Senate journalists? No transfer or appropriation shall be authorized. That is the anti-juggling provision. You media like to call it anti-juggling. No transfer or appropriation shall be authorized except, and then it gives us singular exception in favor of the president. Now, what are these two exceptions that the Constitution insists on before the president can use the funds of the Treasury? Number one, the president can use, well, maybe he thinks of it in his mind as extra money. The president can use extra money, but only if this extra money constitute savings. Therefore, the important question is, when does the executive branch have savings? This is the situation. When Congress says in the budget, we give a certain amount to this project, and then the executive goes ahead and executes the project, but not the full amount is used to carry it out. Maybe it costs cheaper than expected. Let's say they were given 800 million, but only used 500 million. Di may sobra silang 300 million. That is savings. The president, under the Constitution, can get that savings amount and use it for other purposes. And the second condition is that the president can get money not only if it is savings, but also if it is provided for or appropriated by the Congress by means of the budget for that year, like the 2014 budget, the 2013 budget. So you have two requirements for the president to be able to touch money without asking Congress. The first is he can only touch legitimate savings and as defined when I explained it. And the second is that he can only use it if the Congress, in passing the budget, made an appropriation for it. But these two requirements were not followed or applied in the case of the DAP. The DAP is not a congressional creation. Remember, the power of the purse belongs to Congress. What they did was, they simply looked around for money lying around that was not being actually spent. They didn't take care to determine, are these savings natapos ng proyekto tapos may sobra? Yan ang savings natin. Basta, hindi ginagamit if the funds, if the projects were ongoing and were suspended for a while, or if they were just lying around. Akala ng Department of Budget, pwede nilang kunin lahat yun, pinag-ipon nila. Pagkatapos, pamigay nila without any criteria to any congressman or senator who pleases them. That is not the way the rule of law works. This is, for me, doctrinal confusion. It confuses one doctrine for another doctrine. Like, for example, the good faith doctrine. You find a sentence in some of the opinions already released that anyway, the budget secretary was in good faith. There is no such thing in the criminal in the penal code or in criminal law. You don't consider the good faith of the person except in certain instances. In fact, in the penal code, restitution is specifically provided as a crime. So we should get back this 1.1 billion pesos, and the way to get it back is like this. Number one, the Ombudsman, in cooperation, of course, with Justice Department, should file a criminal case against each person because that's a crime. The Constitution says you can't do that, and then you went ahead and did it, and now you have nothing to answer for. You've just committed a crime, no less than a violation, not of an ordinary piece of legislation or law, but of the Constitution. Number two, the same government prosecutor should file a civil case in addition to the criminal case, which could be technical malversation. He must file a civil case because that is a provision of criminal law. Any person who is criminally liable is also civilly liable, so that he will give back that money. And then number three, we should have active cooperation between the COA and the Department of Justice so that all the facts and documents, the statistics, and all the other files pertaining to the DAP can be made available to the prosecutors of the Department of Justice. So that's a three-step procedure. It will take long, but it must be taken because otherwise the attitude is that certain people can commit crimes, but if they're highly placed, they don't have to be punished for it. That is why I call this a case of not only doctrinal confusion, in fact, it is doctrinal chaos because you cannot understand what principles are they applying, principles of constitutional law, principles of penal law, principles of civil law. I can't understand it. And apart from that, I believe that it is time to fully emphasize the concept of delicadeza in our government. Wala na delicadeza ngayon eh. Pag na-implicate sila sa pork barrel, lahat sila forged signatures. Pag na-implicate sila sa DAP, wala silang kinalaman doon, basta binigay lang sa kanila. Biro mo, tig 50 million bawat isa, plus 100 million sa tatlo. In effect, tatlo sila, si Drilon, si Enrile, at si Escudero. At ang sagot nitong mga ito ay nagastos na nila. Nagastos man nila o hindi, balik nila. That is the principle of criminal law. Eh, sabi nitong mga ibang, tatlo pa naman din silang abogado. Kung pakinggan mo lang, lalo na yung iba noon, doon, sa mga enemies kong yan, one of whom I will call Mr. E. Si Mr. E considers himself the most brilliant creature to grow on God's earth. Nobody else says so. No God, no angel has proclaimed him in that respect, except himself. Yan, nagsakit-sakitan, beautiful eyes pa sa TV, nakala mo talaga may sakit. So, my goodness, kung mang-insulto at gumawa ng kasinungalingan sa kapwa niya, walang awa eh. I will talk about Mr. E later. But, biro mo, 6 months after impeachment, ang daming implications nito. What happens to the decision to impeach? Since it is now tainted by suspicions of bribery. The implication is that they were given these amounts because they voted to impeach. That's one. Number two, ibalik nyo yung ginamit sa inyo. Alam naman ninyong panuhol yun, alam ninyong bribery yun, tinanggap nyo. Do you have the duty to restitute in the language of the penal code? And number three, anong magiging presidential effect? Meaning to say the effect as a president or president now. It's pronounced actually as president, as if you were saying president of the Philippines, but it means the prior behavior. What is now the effect on judicial review of this case? In effect, it is saying, as long as you're in good faith, you can violate what the Constitution prohibits. That will be the implication. We lawyers are trained not only to win our cases on the facts, but also to think ahead to the future and see what will be the effect of the ruling that we want the court to make on subsequent cases. That is why it's so difficult to practice if you are practicing as an honest lawyer. So, any questions about the DAP? Yes? Distribute is here. Mamaya, distribute is here.
Some donors are who received that are arguing that they have nothing to return because the funds went to projects. How do you reconcile that?
That is the argument of stupidity. Eh, hindi ko naman alam na mali pala yun. Eh, nagastos ko na. Nagastos mo saan? Ewan ko ba? Hanapin ko pa yung mga resibo ko, pero sigurado ko that was for public purpose. What kind of argument is that? If you're a lawmaker, ignorance does not excuse you. Ignorance excuses no one. Eh, dapat tine-check mo, saan nanggaling ito? Pork barrel ko ba ito? Ano klase ito? At saka ano ba ang mga guidelines dito? Kaya, alam ko kung magkano ang ginastos ko dahil inimbestiga ko muna. Ngayon kung sabihin mo lang, nagastos namin sa proyekto namin, ibig mo sabihin, as soon as you have stolen money from government, you must spend it immediately. That is the consequence of that reasoning. It will reward the industrious robber or thief.
But ma'am, does that make it sort of less of a crime because your colleagues are saying they used it for projects?
No,
And some of them are saying, akala namin sila. Hindi naman namin alam na lang.
that is true. So, that is one more mark against the people in Malacanang. It was their bounden duty not only to release the funds, but in fact, to release it together with documents that would explain clearly to the legislator what the nature was, what is the purpose, and so on. I will admit, kaming mga senador, pati na siguro mga congressmen, when we receive our pork barrel, we don't really examine everything because there are so many papers on our desk. We just presume that our finance directors know that this is a part of a regular disbursement program unless there are extraordinary markers or red marks that will indicate that there is something wrong about it. So, maaaring talagang hindi nila inintindihan yan. And who led them to do that? Department of Budget.
Ma'am, in this case, babalik pa rin nila kahit nagastos na nila yung money.
Oh, yeah. In the theory of restitution in criminal law, there is no factor involved such as if the money went to a good or a bad purpose, a public or private purpose. That is not material.
Since the civil are creating the dollars
Yes.
approved by President,
That is a question that was raised yesterday. Are you sure of the... But are you sure now that it has been unearthed? Because yesterday they were still questioning whether it really exists or not.
it was in the paper.
Well, let's just assume for the sake of argument, there is such a circular. Can the president be impeached? Definitely. In a theoretical way. But you know, impeachment is both a legal and a political topic. You cannot separate one from the other. So if you're just asking me, can he be impeached? Definitely. But can he be impeached in reality? Meaning to say, you have to count noses. Do you have enough votes there? Because, you know, you have to raise certain votes to bring it to committee, and then from the committee to the plenary, and so on. That will be another question. I think it is bound to fail. But I will not blame those who will attempt to check, to test the waters, or to float a trial balloon. Theoretically, yes, it is, because it would be a violation of the Constitution, as the Supreme Court already said.
Can the Secretary Money can be held liable?
Who?
Secretary of Budget.
Oh, yes, definitely. In fact,
Criminally and fiscally.
oh, yes. My gentle recommendation, although I wasn't asked, is just resign. Because it will show the public that you are contrite. But, you know, if all of us in the Senate, in the Congress, in Malacanang, adopt the attitude that we are beyond questioning, that we are, by some unearthly process, are converted by the mere fact of our positions into angelic creatures or demons who are beyond the reach of the law, then the answer will be different. Pare-pareho lang naman kami. We're just like ordinary citizens. May ginawa kaming sabi ngayon ng Korte Suprema. Hindi lang ordinary na batas or ordinary na advisor, Secretary of Justice is advisor of the government. No less than Supreme Court said, mali. Adi dapat may pananagutan tayo. klase ngayon ito kung sinabi ng Korte Suprema, mali ang ginawa na ito, tapos nobody's responsible? What kind of irresponsible government is being fostered by that? You have to at least point a finger to somebody. Definitely, it's the Department of Budget and Management. And if only to spare the president from further embarrassment, the secretary has to resign.
But what about this express pronouncement about its prospectivity proviso in the Supreme Court decision, which according to critics could be tailored made to protect the president and those other involved in the release of...
I didn't really see it myself, but I got the gist of it. It's like this. We begin from the question, what is the effect of unconstitutionality? Suppose there is a law passed by Congress, but that law appears to violate or is not pursuant to a provision of the Constitution, and someone goes to the Supreme Court and questions it. And Supreme Court says, this law is invalid for being unconstitutional. Ano ngayon ang effect of the ruling of unconstitutionality? That is not a simple question. The simple question is retroactive invalidity. Anything that was done under that law is invalid. That is the general rule. Retroactive invalidity. Umpisa't umpisa pa lang, wala nang epekto yan. Pero, sa Philippine jurisprudence, mga kaso ng Korte Suprema, there is an exception to this principle of retroactive invalidity. That exception is called severability. When you want to divide a law into two, one that is partly constitutional, the other partly unconstitutional, that is called severance. You are severing them. So, if the Supreme Court says this part is constitutional, then it has effect. If it says this part is unconstitutional, then it has no effect. That is a principle of Philippine jurisprudence. That's what we do here in this country. Ngayon, in other countries, meron pa silang principle of intermediate consequences between the law, the time the law was passed, and the law is invalidated by the Supreme Court. There's a period of time that passes when the executive officials charged with executing the law would have already implemented it. Kaya, ang pagtatanong ngayon, ano ngayon ang effect, ang intermediate effect? Under Philippine law, that has no effect. I wanted to bring my briefcase. I wanted to read to you one of the most revered quotations from the Philippine Supreme Court when we were still under the Americans. I will read this slowly, but maybe when I reach the office, I will dictate it so that you can have it. Here is the law. The principle of retroactive invalidity, or the general rule. An unconstitutional law is in reality no law. In legal contemplation, it is inoperative, as if it had never been passed. The example is, as I showed to you, so-called intermediate consequences, meaning to say, between the time it was passed and the time that it was declared invalid, it may have produced certain effects. I'll show you an example. For example, under an invalid law, a person was appointed a public official. Then the law was questioned and the court said, the law is invalid. Now what happens to the official acts of that person who apparently was performing his functions in good faith? What happens then? Those are called intermediate consequences. And under the law, public officers, his actions, as long as they are done pursuant to public duty, are considered effective. So, in our country, most likely, what we do is we examine the law. If the law can be divided into the constitutional and the unconstitutional, then constitutionality or validity will depend on that severance. And here is the most famous quotation of all. An unconstitutional act is not a law. It confers no rights. It imposes no duties. It affords no protection. It creates no office. It is as inoperative as though it had never been passed. That's what the Supreme Court said a long, long time ago. An unconstitutional act is not a law. It confers no right. It imposes no duties. It affords no protection. It creates no office. It is as inoperative as though it had never been passed. So, what I'm saying is, there is an urgent need for the Supreme Court to pinpoint responsibility for the act. If we are going to observe the principle of responsibility in public office, we cannot just pass on a law and say it's valid, it's invalid, without saying if it is invalid, who is responsible if we have taken action under it. 1.1 billion ang tinanggap nila, tapos sabihin nila, pumunta na sa projects. Di ganun din sa pork barrel, sabihin, pumunta na sa mga projects. Wala nang pananagutan ngayon sa gobyerno. Basta pumunta pala sa public projects. And the public already believes that all these projects are self-enhancing or they are all guilty of self-enrichment. Ngayon, I would like to request you to go back. Many years ago when I was a freshman senator, the members of the Senate voted to give themselves additional pork barrel in addition to the pork barrel from the budget. And they called it Congressional Initiative Allocation, CIA. I was the only senator who refused to accept it on the ground that there was no legal basis for it. But no action was ever taken to return that money. Now, with respect to the DAP, I did not accept, as your front pages in newspapers show, money from the DAP because I could not understand what it was about. If I can understand what is the purpose and that it has a legal basis, I will accept it. Why not? For my constituents. For your information, when we senators go out, we are demeaned by pork barrel. Akala ko noon, ang galing-galing ko nang mag-urit o magtalumpati, ang dami kong imbitasyon. Ayun pala, kinukumbida ka para hingan ka ng pork barrel mo. Pinapalambot ka lang muna. Kaya mabuti nga, wala ng pork barrel para they really invite you because they imply that they will learn something from you. So there are really many things about the pork barrel that make it deleterious to our country. That is the third topic. Now, the fourth topic is the circumstances of the senators who are now detained. There is a plea from Mr. E. Remember Mr. E? My best friend. Na, nung galit siya sa akin, gusto niya akong sirain. Biro mo, ang ginawa niya, nung bata pa lang ako, kami ng asawa ko, ang Bureau of Customs, kung saan nagtatrabaho ang asawa ko, dinakip ang mga illegal, smuggled sasakyan. And they were arrested. And not only that, they were prosecuted within the Bureau and they were forfeited, meaning to say they already finished the procedure and they were found to be smuggled. Ngayon, itong kanilang Commissioner of Customs, sabi niya, ang lahat na forfeited, pwedeng i-assign sa major Bureau officials who had made achievements, parang incentives program. And my husband got one of those smuggled cars. It was nothing to us because, pride aside, I had already bought myself my own Mercedes-Benz. My husband already drove a Toyota Mustang sports car that his parents gave him when he became a fourth-year student. So wala sa amin yung Toyota na yon. Ngayon, ang gusto ni Mr. E, ay pilitin niya ako, dahil naging assistant niya ako, na pilitin ng asawa ko na ibalik yung smuggled car na yon para magamit ng smuggler. That's the real truth. nung malakas pang katawan niya, gustong-gusto niya akong sirain sa pamagitan ganyan. Pagkatapos ngayon, makita mo, hindi na lumalabas. Drama king. Pag lumabas sa television, nagpapa-beautiful eyes. Pag ganon-ganon siya, paawa-awa siya. Mahirap ng mata ko, mahirap ng ilong ko, mahirap ng tenga ko. Maawa naman kayo sa akin. I-hospital arrest nyo na lang ako. Alright. I quote to him the Equal Protection Clause of our Constitution. Nor shall any person be denied the equal protection of the laws. Ngayon, sabi niya, matanda na ako. Huwag mo na ako i-detain. Ilagay mo na lang ako sa ospital. Aba, edi, lahat ngayon na matanda na, let's say, as defined by law, as a senior citizen, 60 years old and above, edi lahat sila who are detention prisoners should now be placed under hospital arrest. Para pare-pareho sila. Eh, he's asking for special treatment eh. Masyado namang garapal yan. Nang nagnakaw ng pera ng gobyerno, hindi naman siya nakihati eh. Eh ngayon na hirap na siya, gusto niya, siya lang ang hindi mahirapan. Ba't di siya nakihati sa kahirapan itong mga detention prisoners? A detention prisoner is a person who has not yet been tried or is in the process of being tried, but has no money to post bail. When you are charged with an offense, you are arrested, but if you have money, you can give them cash, or you can give them the titles to your property because this is your assurance that you will not run away. That is the procedure of bail. Ngayon, kung non-bailable ka, hiniwala ka ngang piyansa. Marami sa atin, hindi pa sila nabista, ay, how do you say, are crowded like sardines into city jails because they have no money to raise bail. Simply out of poverty. Lahat yan, I insist, as a legislator, kung we really believe in the equal protection of the laws in this country, then all detention prisoners who are 60 years old or above, if they apply, should also be entitled to hospital arrest, not just Mr. E. Gusto niya mag-isa lang siya. Tapos he will plead, because I have so many illnesses. He has no illness except old age. I doubt even if he has declining sexual urges. Because ang pagkaalam ko, last na nagbiyahe siya sa Cagayan, napansin lang niya yung dalagita na nagtitinda ng mais. Pagka-uwi niya sa Cagayan, pinapsundo niya yung dalagita na yon. Ano klaseng maniac yan? Pagkatapos ngayon gusto niya special treatment siya, tumigil na nga siya, nag-aarte yan. Ang lakas-lakas niya Ang problema niya kung may problema siya is not old age. My mother is 91 years old. She's in a nursing home. I told her, Mommy, can you please take a seat? I have news. I have bad news. The bad news is I have cancer. And my mother said, well, everyone has to go sometime. Oh, nakakaisip nga ng gano'n ng 91 years old Ang real cause ng sakit niya is his stem cell treatment dahil sobrang banidad niya. Masyadong malandi na lalaki. Kaya masama pakiramdam niya because his stem cell treatment, as has been proven in many other cases, has, in fact, instead of improving his physical health, has made it deteriorate. Kaya I am against any VIP treatment for any detention prisoner unless all other detention prisoners in the country are placed in the same situation. At saka, we're always saying, kawawa naman, ang dami-daming mga daga at mga ipis. Did you ever ask the rats and the cockroaches how they feel? Well, that's about, well, I should now stop talking. I know already in my heart that you wish me well in my illness. I'm not afraid of cancer. There's nothing I'm afraid of. Because what can we do? God never asks us for our opinion. God just goes ahead and does whatever it is in his head. So you just say, okay, That's all I'm saying. I'm saying okay, but I will share with you this little poem that is part of traditional English literature. This was the New Year, and you know we always think of the New Year as very, very dark. We don't know what's coming with the New Year. Like me, I never knew I would get cancer. And so this writer said, I asked the man who stood at the gate of the year, give me a light so that my feet can see a known way. And the man at the gate said, put your hand in the hand of God. This is a better way than a light or a known way. And so, with my respectful proposal that we all put our hands in the hand of God, I will now wait for more questions. Ah,
Doon ako sa cancer niyo, 4th stage po kasi siya. During po ba sa regular check-up, hindi po ba siya nakita?
no. Every time I was checked up for chronic fatigue syndrome, I'm always tired, I'm coughing, but it's dry cough, and it's probably just allergic. And then I'm always tired, and so on. Immediately the doctor will say, go get a CT scan. And they would never see it, because apparently my lung was already getting filled with fluid, with water. That's why it was already blurred. So it also depends on the competence of the radiologist. He might think it's just a little blur there when it could actually be indicative of something much more malignant. That's what happened to me. They actually took nearly 2 cups of blood from my lungs.
Paano mo naging reaction ng family, especially your husband, accepted the invitation?
Well, my husband said, go to the United States. And I said, are you thinking you're lucky? Ano ka sinuswerte?
I want just to go back to Snap. What for you were the impeachable offenses?
I'm sorry?
What were the impeachable offenses as far as the president is concerned?
Well, violation of the Constitution, violation of accountability, the principles of accountability and responsibility,
Apart from the
culpable violation of the Constitution.
apart from issuing the circular.
Well, that's the action, that's the behavior that constitutes the crime. Kaya nga, pagaling ko next month, because I'm supposed to be in remission by next month, I'm going to announce my presidential candidacy. Well, if people, if they don't clean up this mess, because as a lawyer, I look at this DAP opinion, which goes my way, as a big mess. I mean, how are you going to tie up all of these loose ends? And then we have these young people in the social media. I understand that I already have 1 million likes, so I'll just but unlike other candidates, I'm not going to cheat. So I already have more than 1 million likes, and that should be enough. And I got Twitters in high numbers, and it depends really. Maybe God will send me another disease, so I'll have to go. I don't really know what I will do, but I'm very, very happy with the life that God gave me.
Follow up or that?
Ma'am, clarification na po. Ma'am, sabi niyo lahat po nung dapat, yung tumanggap nung dapat pong kasuhan.
Right.
So pati mga senador po, yung mga...
Yes, every single one who received.
Ano pong abad ma'am, kailangan niyo po ba?
Yeah.
Ano pong kaso yun?
Perhaps technical malversation. Yes. Well, you have to prove that it went to him personally.
Senator, what happened to the ongoing legitimate DAP-funded projects like NOAA and the facility?
Well, they have to stop instantly.
They have to stop it?
Yes, because of the Supreme Court decision, the way it is worded. Remember, we have a presumption of retrogressive invalidity The moment he says it's invalid, even in the past, all the actions were invalid. So even more so, the future can no longer be allowed.
But I think there are certain portions of it still constitutional.
That's right. That's why I have to read the whole opinion. That's why I made a reservation. I haven't seen the entire opinions. I don't know. I cannot speak with authority because I have nothing to base them on.
Ma'am, follow-up sa that regarding on the Supreme Court decided that unconstitutional. So who is the most responsible or most guilty?
The Secretary of Department, the Secretary of Budget and Management.
How about the President?
Well, it's like this. In international criminal law, when it can be proven that the government turned against its own people and committed so-called criminal acts against its own people, like massacres, ethnic cleansing, etc., then, of course, the entire responsibility must fall on one person at least because he's the one who's issuing all the orders. In the case of the Nazis, for example, of course, the one person responsible was Hitler. So, do we follow this? And then everybody was brought to court after Hitler said, but I was only acting according to command. I was afraid I'd get killed if I didn't follow. And the Supreme Court, and an international tribunal for the first time ruled in international criminal law that obedience to the orders of a superior officer is not a defense. Not a defense. Every person must make up his own mind and stand by it. We are a consequence of our moral choices. If you chose to obey Hitler, whether you believe that he was going to kill you otherwise or not, then you stand by the consequences of what you did. So in the same way also, applying it in civil life, there is no such defense as obedience to the orders of a superior authority. You have to accept your own authority.
Regarding that, how can direct bribery be proven? And would it not be difficult to establish the fact that the funds were used to bribe congressmen and senators during the impeachment of Corona? Senators, I mean, during the impeachment.
It will be easier for me if you went to law school and they taught you there, because it's so complicated to explain these things. How easy it is, it depends on your mastery of the laws of evidence and your mastery of psychology. You watch while you are cross-examining or conducting direct examination. You watch the expressions of the parties involved, the lawyers, the witnesses, even the judge. Kaya, ganito, para makuha mong simpatya ng judge, mauna ka, pumunta kung abogado ka sa korte, maupo ka sa front row, maligo ka muna. Pagkatapos, bawat may ruling ang judge like, objection, Your Honor, objection denied, objection sustained. Pag nag-ruling ang judge, sabi mo, pag panahon mo na, pag it's your turn, lahat ng hinihingi mo, bibigay ng judge. Part yan ng expertise in evidence. Well, anyway, you have to study the rules of evidence, and they're very, very tricky because the Supreme Court might rule in one way, and in more or less the same facts will rule on the other way. It depends on how you argue it. There are many rules on evidence. Ano pa? Oh, yes. He culpably violated the Constitution. They don't have the numbers right now. For all you know, baka itong si Mr. E is paying money so that the numbers will be sufficient to file an impeachment complaint in committee. Malay mo kung anong ginagamit niya sa pera niya. At hindi lang yon ang nakuha niya, ha? Sa tingin ko, kababa-baba naman yan kung sinasabi nila tag 200 billion ng babawat senador. Ay, sus, i-check nila uli ang mga figures nila, maliit yan. At, maliban dyan, bakit pag nag-orate or nag-speak ang ating presidente, kaagad meron na ngayon nag-heckle sa kanya. Oh, heckle after heckle. Pagkatapos, bakit ngayon merong threat, terrorist threat sa Mindanao? Aba, mukhang we are being spoon-fed the dire news that our president can no longer hold the country together. And therefore, it is time to release the 3 plundered senators, including Mr. E. Oh, pag-isipan nyo yan. While I am in my house, tending to my left lung, like those things you see in the games, I have to feed them, otherwise they'll die. Of course it's bribery because, you know, you gave all of them the same amount of money 6 months after impeachment, which was a very controversial and divisive, very fractious case. You have to be dim-witted not to admit the suspicion that, aba, maybe this is bribery. Bribery, pwede. Yes. And ang mga senator judges naman at ang mga representatives knowingly rendering unjust judgment.
Should the president be impeached? Kung nasa sa po ang politika, kailangan ba tayo ng presidente na nag-violate ng Constitution?
Of course, since I'm a former judge, of course, and a former law professor, my answer is yes. But the thing is, it's not gonna take place. What can I do? Next time I see God, I'll tell him. Well, if there's nothing else to do. Thank you, people. Thank you very much. And we're having lunch at the lounge.
Magandang tanghali po sa mga kaka-on lang po ng kanilang mga telebisyon. Ang inanunsyo nga po ni Senador Miriam Defensor Santiago na meron siyang stage 4 na lung cancer. Nakatakda na raw siyang sumailalim sa 6 na linggong chemotherapy at umaasa raw ang kanyang mga doktor na magiging matagumpay ito. Kung hindi ay kakailanganin daw niyang magtungo sa Amerika para doon ituloy yung kanyang pagpapagamot. Pero matapos i-anunsyo Maris ni Senator Santiago na meron nga siyang sakit, agad naman siya naglitanya sa iba pang issue of national interest.
As a matter of fact, Rafi, no, habang inaanunsyo niya na siya may lung cancer na nasa stage 4 na raw, talagang palabiro itong si Senadora Miriam Defensor Santiago. Nagawa pa niya magpatawa sa kabila ng kanyang karamdaman. At gaya nga ng binabanggit mo na naglitanya siya sa iba pang mga issue, pinaliwanag ni Senador Santiago yung epekto ng pagdedeklara ng Korte Suprema na unconstitutional ang ilang bahagi ng Disbursement Acceleration Program. At dapat daw ito ay retroactive. Dapat daw panagutin ang mga sangkot sa DAP. Kailangan din daw magbitiw ni Budget Secretary Butch Abad. Hindi raw dahilan ang in good faith para labagin ang konstitusyon. Hindi rin daw depensa, Rafi, ang pagsunod lamang sa utos na nakatataas sa iyo kung alam mong mali base sa international criminal law.
At very interesting, Maris, no? Doon sa kanyang paglalita niya tungkol sa DAP, paulit-ulit niya pa rin, paulit-ulit niyang tinira yung isang Mr. E. Bagamat hindi niya ito pinapangalanan, sabi niya itong Mr. E na isang senador ay nag-iinarte lamang daw at kumukuha lamang ng simpatsya mula sa publiko at dapat daw ay hindi paniwalaan. Ayon pa sa kanya, dapat tanungin daw yung mga daga at ipis kung ano yung kanilang reaksyon kapag nakasama nila itong Mr. E sa kulungan at huwag pagbigyan yung anya ipag-iinarte nitong sinasabi niyang Mr. E.
Yan, Rafi at mga kapuso, yung sinabi nga ni Senadora Miriam Defensor Santiago na why not ask how the cockroaches and the rats feel, ano? Kasi parang lagi na lang daw sinasabi na kawawa naman daw yung mga nakapiit na senador doon sa PNP Custodial Center at kung sakasakali yung Mr. E malalagay din daw sa PNP Custodial Center, napakarami raw ipis at daga. Tanungin naman din daw yung nararamdaman laman ng mga ipis at daga na naroroon ang mga senador na nakapiit doon sa PNP Custodial Center. Pero Rafi, sa kabila ng kanyang inanunsyo, no, sinabi niya na masaya siya sa buhay na binigay sa kanya ng Panginoon, hindi raw siya natatakot sa kanyang cancer. Tumaasa nga siya na after 6 weeks, no, makaka-recover siya dito sa kanyang iniindang sakit.
Doon mo makikita kung gaano katapang itong si Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago nung matapos siyang inunsyong ganito kalaking balita tungkol sa kanyang health. Nakapag-discuss pa siya ng iba't ibang malalaking issue. At kaya sinabi rin niya doon sa kanyang press conference na kaya na umabot ng stage 4 yung kanyang lung cancer ay posibleng hindi ito namalayan dahil meron nga siyang chronic fatigue syndrome. Lagi siyang hinahahapo, nahihirapan siyang huminga. Kaya't hindi napansin na meron na pala siyang lung cancer bagamat hindi siya naninigarilyo, Maris.
At hindi rin umiinom.
Hindi rin umiinom. So alamin natin kung ano yung iba pang binanggit itong si Senator Santiago sa kanyang press conference. Makibalita tayo mula mismo sa Senado. Naroon natin kasamang si Jam Sisante. Jam?
Yes, Rafi, kanina nga sa isang press conference ng Senador Miriam Santiago na na-diagnose siya ng ng lung cancer nung nakaraang linggo. Sabi ni Santiago, bagamat na-diagnose siya ng lung cancer, meron daw genetic mutation yung kanyang left lung na dahilan kung bakit maaari daw siyang uminom ng mga tableta na merong benepisyo tulad ng chemotherapy. Kaya inaasahan daw niya na sa loob ng mahigit 1 buwan ay posibleng mag-recover daw siya fully. Sabi ni Senador Santiago, hindi raw matukoy ng mga doktor kung anong naging sanhi ng kanyang lung cancer dahil hindi naman daw siya naninigarilyo, hindi na siya umiinom, pati raw yung asawa niya hindi rin naninigarilyo. Pero tanggap naman daw niya at yung sakit na ito, naiintindihan daw niya na meron daw plano ang Diyos para sa kanya. Sinabi rin, hindi rin na sinasarado pa ni Santiago ang posibilidad na tumakbo siya sa pagkapangulo sa 2016. Pero ang kanyang magiging daw ay depende pa doon nga sa magiging lagay ng kanyang kondisyon or kondisyon ng kanyang kalusugan. Kanina nagsalita din si Senador Santiago tungkol doon sa sesyon ng Korte Suprema ukol sa Disbursement Acceleration Program o DAP. Sabi ni Santiago, dapat daw isauli ng mga mambabatas na nabigyan ng DAP yung pondo na ibinigay sa kanila. Hindi rin mahalaga kung ginamit nila ito para sa mga pampublikong proyekto dahil malinaw daw doon sa desisyon ng Korte Suprema na unconstitutional ang DAP at ang pera na ginamit dito sa ilalim nito ay parang kumbaga ay ninakaw na raw. Sabi rin Santiago, dapat daw sampahan ng kaso yung mga mambabatas sa pang opisyal na gumamit ng pera mula din sa DAPRA.
Jam?
Yes, Rafi.
Jam, ano yung reaction ng mga reporters dyan? Alam natin na close yung mga reporters dyan sa Senado dito kay Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago at maraming spekulasyon kung ano yung kanyang i-announce kanina, pero nagulat ba yung mga reporters dun sa kanyang inanunsyo?
Yes, Rafi, talagang nagulat tayo doon sa kanyang mga inanunsyo dahil mga 2 weeks ago pa lang sinabi na meron daw major announcement itong si Senator Santiago. Kahapon lang o kanina umaga sinabi na tungkol din sa kanyang health at political plan. Ang medyo haka-haka nga, iba ka mag-a-announce ka ng presidential plan para sa 2016 itong si Senador Santiago. Dahil before pa, nagbibigay na siya ng mga hints na maraming yung nananawagan para sa kanyang pagtakbo. Kaya nung sinabi niya na meron siyang lung cancer, talagang lubos tayo nagulat at wala talagang umaasa na, or nag-expect na ganun yung i-anunsyo ng senadora.
Okay, maraming salamat sa iyo, Jam Sisante.